So what we've done now is we have covered our machine with what is called a clip cord. And this covers the whole piece of equipment as well as the end of it. And then we've taken a piece of athletic wrap and we have gone ahead and then put that around the end to help keep that clip cord on. You'll see at the very end there is a hole that we have made that we can insert our cartridge into. Sorry. Our cartridges come sealed, they are sterilized, and it's always nice when you are able to open them in front of your client. And then we'll insert that into the end of the machine all the way, turn strongly to the left, and now we're ready to check on our needle length and also on our power. So first of all, you want to make sure that your needle is inside of the cartridge when the machine is off. Now, if it isn't, you can actually adjust and bring that needle in. But when we step on our power and we see the needle come out, when we turn that power off, that needle must go in. If it doesn't, you are not going to pick up pigment, okay? So it's very important when that machine goes off that that needle is going all the way back in. Now, sometimes all it needs is a little bit of an adjustment, but sometimes you will have a defective cartridge, and in that case, then you need to put that aside and replace that. At this point, you are ready to start practicing your basic techniques, and you can see that for demonstration, we have some pigment in a pigment ring, and that's worn on the index finger. In the case of a right-hand individual, on the left hand, and vice versa for those lefties out there. Now we'd like you to draw some just straight lines on one piece of your latex with your ruler, and then you're going to go ahead and begin to practice straight lines. And we're going to be practicing this both 45 degrees, and we're also going to practice this at 90 degrees. So with 45 degrees, remember, we are implanting about 45% more pigment. And so you're going to see that it is a much brighter color. And also you are going to have more retention with that. So let's watch as our master goes ahead and demonstrates. And see how this color is starting to fill in. And this is at about a 45-degree angle. She's going in soft circles, tiny little circles. Always checking to see how the pigment is implanted. Now, pigment definitely implants easier on latex. However, you're going to be able to see the difference between the 45 and the 90 just by observing the little dots that we do. Now, 90 degree, we're doing the same thing. We're doing small little circles, side to side, back and forth. And you can see that it is a much softer color. Now, you'll particularly notice this on the skin where the weight of the skin will retain the pigment at the 45 degrees. So we're going to see an outline both at 45, at 90, and then we're going to see one that's called a whip shade outline. So first, we're going to have you practice drawing a straight line at 45 degrees. And so we're going back and forth and then scooting forward, kind of like an inchworm. And the key is that we're not pulling out and reinserting. We want to keep that head of the needle in the skin And if you do need to withdraw, when you go back in at an angle, very softly. Think of coming in like a plane landing versus a helicopter dropping down. And you can see that line being drawn. Work very precise. And part of your homework is going to be doing these straight lines over and over again on your latex. All right, now we're going to see a 90-degree line. So now our machine is held at a 90-degree angle. And we're still going the back and forth and then inching forward. And on skin, we'll get a little bit less retention at the 90-degree angle, simply because more of the pigment will be able to come back out because of the straight up and down angle, but also about 40% less pigment is being implanted versus the 45-degree angle. But this, of course, can give a very soft outline because we are implanting a little less pigment. And then we're going to look at the soft whip shade outline. And the soft whip shade is a pendulum. The technique is back and forth. You're holding it between your thumb and index finger. The thumb is really just keeping it in place, and your middle and index finger are pushing it back and forth. And you really need to practice this to get a nice even shade. It should look like little pixels of color. And this is wonderful to outline with this soft whip shade when you want to have no harsh outlines. So think maybe the top of a ombre brow. And you're working toward yourself, and you can see that we're on the line and then moving toward ourselves. We're doing a scooping motion. So we scoop and move, and scoop and move. Again, we're using our index finger and middle finger to make that movement. And we're going to get soft pixels versus a line. Now, is one better than another? They're just different. And we use them to have different effects when we're setting our outline. And you're also going to want to practice these different techniques because you're going to use these same types of techniques when you're doing your shading as well.